Good day, Bengals fans. He is Mon, Eric. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse, the heartbeat of our Cincinnati Bengals. Want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We appreciate you guys. We love you. This is the OTA, the beginning of OTA episode for the Bengals Pulse. We're going to be talking about some Bengal contracts, who was there, who was not there, OTAs today. Going to cover as much as we can. And then on Thursday, we got a awesome show coming up for you. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Before we do, Mon, how's your week been, bud?
It's good, good. Just a lot of stuff going on. Training at the fire department. Just same old, same old. Teaching at the college, and just trying to read up on the Bengals. Really getting into this hockey season, Stanley Cup playoffs. A lot of fun, and I'm excited about tonight's show. I feel like it's been forever since we had one, so let's do this.
It does feel like it's been forever. Eric, how you doing, bud? I know
Good.
how you're doing, but
Hey,
everything else
listen.
okay?
There's always a chance. Yeah, I need a little distraction from my Wolves. We're down 3-1. Anything's possible. I'm a Bengals fan. Anything's possible. But it's good to be a little bit distracted. It's nice to see that the Edmonton Oilers are playing tonight for Mon. We'll give them a little distraction. I think we gotta go use some AI to create that logo for Mon. But excited to talk some Bengals. Excited to see some helmets on, and ready to get to this. Ready to get the season going.
Well, guys, let's talk some Bengals. We have Who Day, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us. Uh, we have we have a lot of news. Obviously, OTA started. We saw a little contact between Jamar and Cam Taylor Britt. Good way to start uh, the OTAs with a little competition. Like to see that. Obviously, some no shows. Eric, what do you think? What do you want to talk about first, guys? You want to talk about the guys who aren't there first?
So I think before we get to that, yeah, let's talk about the big guy that's not there. Well, one of the bigger guys that's not there. Let's talk about Shamar Stewart. His dad actually went on a podcast, and I apologize, I don't have the name of that podcast right now, but they did a really good interview with him. Learned a lot about his dad. Didn't know that he was a college coach, but he dropped some nuggets that people didn't know. And Houday from Florida, from three boys in Florida here. So good to see we're bringing some local fans here.
And
Um,
we got a Who Day from Northern California.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're,
Northern
we're pulling
Cal.
them in. Next time we get our Australian fans to chime in here as well. But Shamar Stewart's dad dropped some nuggets on us that was really interesting. Some outs that the Bengals are trying to put into this contract that they didn't do last year and they didn't do the year before. I'm going to go to Mon first for his take on this because I know he's got some feelings on it. Mon, why don't you tell us what you think about the news that he gave us?
Yeah, that was from Roundtable Sports.
Okay.
Zim is a part of that AFC North talk. It was members of that group that interviewed him. I enjoyed it. It was a great interview. His dad is, you know, obviously very passionate and a high school coach, and he's very involved. We all know Shamar Stewart's going to sign a contract pretty soon. Yeah, he's going to have a training camp. He's going to be productive this year. This stuff going on with the language, the way he explained it to me, I just interpret it very unnecessary. I just think it's just the Bengals playing a little bit of hardball. I totally get their side of the story. It wasn't in Mim's contract last year or Miles Murphy the year before. So why do you want to put it in Shamar Stewart's? Okay, Shamar Stewart is a higher pick than those other two, and if you want to, you know, uh, lay down and start doing it, do it when you have the 32nd pick. That's what he said after you win the Super Bowl this year. I think it's unnecessary. It's going to get done. Nobody's crashing out over it, but it just frustrates me. I don't like it because I don't want my team getting bashed in the media all the time. And this is like pouring gasoline on the fire. It just feeds that narrative that the Bengals are frugal when it comes to certain positions. When it comes to quarterback and wide receivers, it's not. They spend money. But other positions, they are just, they're tough. And I think it's unnecessary, and I hope they get it done soon.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of wonder what the thought process is. You know what I mean? I just I think through this whole thing, and you guys know, I try to stay in the middle of this and look at it from both sides. But this one just I don't really understand why are we changing things up? It just doesn't make any sense to me why the Bengals would come out and put together a whole new structure on a rookie deal. It's kind of hard to blame Shamar in this instance. I really believe that. I think this is one of those things where, like you said, Mon, he's a higher pick. Why are we playing games with this guy? Why are we switching things up, especially when he knows what the contracts hold, before him on, the last couple draft picks. So I'm going to side on Shamar on this one. I do think he'll get signed. I think it'll get done here probably fairly quickly. But just doesn't make any sense, guys. It really doesn't. What the Bengals' thought process here is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange that they want to set a precedent. And maybe they tried to do it last year, but they didn't get it through. It's frustrating. No other big notables other than obviously Trey Hendrickson's not there. Still waiting on some movement on that. There hasn't been a lot of stuff that goes out there. I do want to get your guys' opinion on Jermaine Pratt before we move on. Obviously, we know the situation. We think the Bengals approached him, asked him to take a pay cut, and that's when he asked to be traded. We're sitting here May 27th. We're going into June. He's still on the roster, hasn't been traded, hasn't been taking a pay cut, isn't at OTAs. What is going on? Why? I'm a huge Jermaine Pratt fan. What he did for us, helping secure that first playoff victory in however many years. To me, if he's not going to be a Bengal this year, it is a horrible look for this franchise to keep him on the team. I feel like they're using his salary against Trey Hendrickson. What do you guys think? What's going on with Jermaine Pratt?
Yeah, this one's a head scratcher too. I mean, I listen. If you're going. By the way, Houday, everybody. We a lot of people jumping on Houday. We appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for jumping on. I, I don't. I don't really. This is another one where it's like, what the hell are we thinking right now? I mean, obviously, it doesn't sound like Jermaine Pratt is in the plans, right? The Bengals go out. They use two. What you would consider, picks that are going to make this football team on linebacker, and now you're still letting this guy hang around. He hasn't shown up for anything. He's not shown up now for OTAs. This one again is just one of those situations. We thought maybe there'd be a trade during the draft. There wasn't. They haven't done anything with him. We haven't heard anything about it. If they did offer him a lower contract, he obviously didn't take it. So what is the point of this? Again, this goes back to what Mom was talking about, right? Is the Bengals, they keep putting themselves in these situations, and it's just a bad look, right? Trey Hendrickson's a bad look. Shamar Stewart's a bad look. This Jermaine Pratt thing is a bad look. You've already drafted his replacements. Why in the hell is this guy still on the roster? If he's not going to take any lower, cut him now and use that money, and let's get Trey in here. I mean, I don't understand the thought process here. It just doesn't make any sense. We'll talk about Cordell Volson, restructuring his deal here in a minute, I know. But, if Jermaine Pratt is not doing that, if he doesn't want to go in that direction and he's not in your plans, get rid of him. Mon, what do you?
Yeah, I don't even think they asked him for a pay cut. You know what? I'm very critical of the Bengals the last few weeks with Trey Hendrickson. I'm going to stick up for him here. Yeah, I get the distraction part. They don't need his cap space right now. They really don't. They got about $27 million in cap space. Guys, they're holding on to him right now because Jermaine Pratt is still a productive NFL player, and they're waiting, potentially an injury in OTAs, maybe early and mini in training camp. they might be able to get a 7th-round pick for him or a 6th-round pick. Everybody knows right now the Bengals are going to cut him. Everybody knows that. So nobody's going to offer the Bengals anything. But something could happen early in the training camp that makes him a little bit more marketable where they're going to get him. Speaking of linebackers, I'm feeling a little better about the draft after reading a lot of articles. Charlie Goldsmith, used to work for the Inquirer, has this Substack article, Charlie's Chalkboard. He did this unbelievable write-up today and talking to Logan Wilson and Bengal coaches. The engine to Al Golden's defense, the key to his defense is linebacker play. That's why Wilson, healthy Wilson, they drafted Carter, they drafted Knight. They're probably going to add another linebacker too. They got Burke. They usually go 5 or 6 linebackers. They could go 7 this year. I don't know, but the linebacker is the key to his defense. And that tells me right there, Jermaine Pratt, they haven't talked about him in months. He's not part of this defense. He's not part of it. They haven't, to me, I don't think they've asked him for any money back. He's not going to be on the team, but they're going to hold on to him until the first week of training camp. If somebody's like, hey, man, we're really thin at linebacker, offer the Bengals a 6th or a 7th for Pratt. It's a home run for Cincinnati. I think that's what the deal is. And you said you want to talk about Volson. That's the head scratcher to me. I mean, they didn't save a lot of money with him.
No.
I mean, that's a real head scratcher.
It was like 500 grand or something.
Yeah, 500,000. I mean, to me, that guaranteed. I'm sorry, Eric. That guarantees him a roster spot because they're guaranteeing $1 million to him this year. So
yeah, they basically converted some of the salary to guarantees and then added playing guarantees, but only saved $500,000. Which we go from a team that absolutely never restructured contracts ever. And now we're restructuring contracts to save $20,000 here, $100,000 there, $500,000 there. It doesn't make sense. And to add on to Mon's point, I don't give the benefit of the doubt to the Bengals on this. I will, until I'm proven wrong, I will believe that they're using Jermaine Pratt's contract against Trey Hendrickson to say we can't pay you more because this is where we're at with the cap. There's no other rational explanation.
But his agent will say, "We know that's BS." There's
I'm
no
not
way.
saying it's
the guy.
I'm not saying it's not a bad bluff, but I swear that's the bluff they're making.
Well, let me ask you this because, and I do want to talk. I do want to respond to Bengals fandom because I was going to talk about this too later on, but I do want to respond to him talking about the other bad looks around the NFL and why the Bengals somehow get pulled out. But I want to ask you this then, Eric. If that's the case, if they are using Jermaine Pratt against Trey Hendrickson, why is he not in camp? Right? If they are saying to him right now, listen, dude, you are part of this. You are going to be a part of this team. That you are part of this defense. If they are saying those things to him, why would he not be at camp? I don't understand that.
Well, it's not because you don't control Jermaine Pratt. He's on your team, but he doesn't want to be on your team. So I don't know if you guys have ever played poker, if you've ever gambled. This is like the guy that bluffs every single hand. He's always bluffing. He's always bluffing. And so all of a sudden you're in a really big pot and he's out there and he's bluffing again. And you know he's bluffing because Jermaine Pratt's not in camp. You know that Jermaine Pratt has asked for a trade. So they're just saying, listen, Jermaine Pratt is on our roster. We owe him, $8 million this year. He's going to be a Bengal or he's going to retire. To me, it's a bluff that the Bengals don't have the backing of Jermaine Pratt. If Jermaine was in
Eric, Watertight brings up a good point too. June 1st, are we going to see is this going to be a June 1st cut?
You can cut players now and designate it June 1. You can cut them in March. And it's a June 1 cut as long as you put that in there, so you don't have to wait until June 1.
That's a good point.
I will say this. There's a resolution coming. Mandatory mini camp is June 12th, June 13th, around there. They might not want Jermaine Pratt there, toxic environment, okay? He gets fined if he doesn't show up. So there could be a resolution before that. They could cut him before that mandatory. Because if he does come in, he could be a major distraction. Because let's face it, I mean, coaches have been interviewed, the new linebacker coach, the new defensive coordinator. They haven't even mentioned the guy. So there could be a resolution there, and maybe some other roster spots also.
Well, let's talk about real quick what Bengals fandom brings up, because I think this is something poignant to talk about, and that is, we talk about the bad look that the Bengals have right now, the Trey Hendrickson situation, the Shamar Stewart situation. Why are these other teams not brought out into the light? Have you heard about what's going on with James Cook? Have you heard about what's going on with TJ Watt? No, you haven't. It hasn't been in the news like the Bengals have been. Why is this, Mon? Is this something that we are looking into, or is this an actual situation where the NFL just loves beating down the Bengals? Because I don't know if you guys have read, but the James Cook situation and the TJ Watt situation, I don't know as much about the Jair Alexander, but those other two situations I read up on today, they are ugly. They are getting ugly. James Cook and TJ Watt getting ugly.
Yeah. TJ Watt's he's gonna get his new contract. Jeremy Fowler said it. It's a little saber rattling there. That's a done deal. I mean, Cook. I really don't want to be negative tonight, guys. There's a lot of young Bengal fans out there that know the last 10 years. What's happening with Jesse Bates, Kevin Zeitler, all this stuff that we talk about. We talk about too much on the show. I don't want to be negative. That's been going on since the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now. And that, I mean, I'm just being real. And that's why, people that follow the NFL media, old timers, and the young reporters know the legacy. Yes, other teams have contract problems. Absolutely they do. Yes, they do. They do. I get it. All right. But if you really want to talk about this year, the Bengals have been the marquee team of the offseason. Chase, Higgins, Hendrickson, 3 of the top 5 players at their position, contract issues. That's why the Bengals spotlight is on them, because they're so good. No offense to Cook, the running back for the Bills. He's nowhere near their league. He's a good player. He's a good player. But Higgins, Chase, and Hendrickson, arguably top 5, 10 at their position. And, of course, the spotlight's on them for that. And, again, the Bengals' hard stance on negotiations at times. Not a quarterback, not a wide receiver, because they have a history of paying those guys. But guard and safety, they don't pay them. And that's where, some of those other things have happened.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this. So we have the OTAs obviously starting up here. Mon, give me 2 things that you want to get out of the OTAs. What are 2 things that when OTAs are done, you're going to be like, okay, I'm glad I saw it. What are 2 things you're looking for?
Dave Lapham always mentions this. When your offensive line, they need cohesion. They need to play together. I know their pads aren't on. Their helmets are on. I think they found who they think their best 5 are. Obviously, that's fluid. They're going to, training camp will have a lot to say there. Start getting those guys together. Have those reps. Have them, work together in unison. And let's come out of OTAs with a good 80%, 85%, like, hey, this is going to be our starting 5 offensive linemen. We know who the tackles are. We know who the center is, who are the guards. That's the big one. We need an upgrade there. We've talked about it for a long time. We don't know exactly how that's going to shake out. But today they brought out Lucas Patrick at right guard, Fairchild at left guard. Let those guys play. Let them play. Let's see how it works out. If they're struggling in camp, bring in Cody Ford. Go bring in somebody else. But let's find those guys and let's get them to work together. And the same thing, safety. I know we got Geno Stone. We got Jordan Battle. Let's sit Tyson Anderson in there. Very athletic safety, great core special teamer. Let's see what he can do. Let's get a little bit more athleticism there. Let's get a couple young guys ready to jump in if those safeties struggle.
I like it. I like it.
We did see or get reports that Fairchild was pretty much starting at left guard, and we had Patrick at right guard, but I think some other people switched in and out of there at right guard. Do you guys think that Fairchild has already won that job? I mean, who's he competing with? We know that Volson pretty much lost the job last year, so is that his, unless something crazy happens in the training camp?
I think Fairchild is already penciled in. I think he's penciled in one of the guard spots, and I think the other one, we saw Cody Ford, getting some starting reps as well. So I think Ford, I think Lucas Patrick, I think those guys are competing for that second spot, which is crazy, right? We just signed Cordell Volson, and he's not even in the discussion, Mon. But
He
obviously
could.
he's
He
going.
could. Yeah.
He could, I guess, but he's obviously there. Like you said, you're not going to guarantee Cordell Volson money and get rid of him, guys. So Cordell obviously going to be one of those swing guard spots as well.
He is. I know it's a different era of football, but remember in 2009, the first year we were on Hard Knocks, how the Bengals came out and became a really dominant run-heavy team with Cedric Benson. That's not going to happen with this team. It's not going to happen at all. But they played a lot of unbalanced lines. Remember, they're coming out there with 6-7 offensive linemen.
Yep.
And they were just running over people, and they were helping that defense out, and that defense got better and better. We'll see, man. It's really exciting. I'm glad, it's just getting closer. Somebody tweeted it out today, 100 days the football season starts. So really excited about that.
Yeah, no,
let's put a countdown clock on here.
I do want to go back real quick because I'm with you, Mon. I want to see this offensive line gel, this new offensive line under the new direction and the new coaching. I want to see this new offensive line take kind of an identity of itself. I heard, I think it was today, I heard something about they want to be called Bring the Pain or something like that.
Yeah.
So no more glass eaters. Thank God. That was terrible.
Can I address Bengal fandom real here? Listen, Bengal fandom, listen, Mike Brown and his family are good people. They want to win championships here, and I think they care about the city of Cincinnati. I honestly do. My complaint with them, cap-wise, they do spend a lot of cash. I agree with you. They do. They're always in the middle or top tier when it comes to actual cash spent. But the way they structure some contracts, like let's just take Chase and Higgins. All right. They signed them to great contracts this year. They technically should have, created more cap space after they did that. They didn't do that. They didn't use that luxury that, they could have used to maybe add $10 million to their salary cap to go out and get another core free agent. That's what frustrates me. You can't let players like Jesse Bates go. You can't let Kevin Zeitler go and replace them with just guys. You're never getting ahead. You're just taking a step back instead of taking a step forward. That's what frustrates me. You can name 6-7 other players. The Bengals are always playing catch up when they don't really need to. I just want that little extra assertiveness, that aggressiveness from that front office, just a little bit more to keep us moving forward.
And just to add on to that, I think the biggest thing is like we said, they've spent a lot of money. They're not spending to the floor. They're spending what they need to. But it's just the structures, and it's the nickel and diming. It's this rookies contracts that are guaranteed for what they're going to get. And now you're adding an injury protection in there for the team. Little things like that, and maybe it's the lawyers in Katie and her husband Troy that add those things in there, but it definitely kind of rubs people the wrong way. We aren't going to have a really long show tonight. Mon's got to get out and watch his.
You guys keep it up.
Team.
I appreciate you guys, but I got to get out, and we're going to tell them about the show Thursday night, Eric.
Yeah, if you want to drop, we'll go ahead and talk.
Yeah,
more
I'll do it. I'm out, guys.
Plug.
All right, guys.
See
you.
Go ahead, Monty.
If I X out of here, it's because it's not going to mess anything up, is it?
You're good.
Okay, cool. See you.
We'll see.
Oh no! Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, we're back. No. So, we got a tease for Thursday night show. I think we're going to go live at 7:00. We're going to do our way too early 53-man roster breakdown. Jake and Mon are going to give their predictions on who they're going to make the team. And I think during that, I'm probably going to pull up some receipts from last year where Jake was really, really wrong. I was looking for ones that Mon got wrong, but he didn't get any wrong. So,
there's no way Mon did not get anything wrong.
Well, there's some semantics, but you both got Brad Robbins wrong. But I think that was an issue.
Well, then put it up there, Eric. Don't be trying to pull out Jake receipts.
I'll dig deep. I'll try and find one that Mon got wrong. But
because let me tell you,
three of them jumped out right away for Jake.
Let me tell you, I can pull out receipts like Cody Core, Mon. if you're still watching, Cody Core. I can bring up receipts if you can't find them. Trust me.
Yeah. Well, we're just gonna go back to last year, so that's gonna be a good, fun episode. We'll have we'll try and give it the time that it needs. Anything else that you saw in OTAs or heard out of OTAs? I don't know if you've gotten a chance, but anybody that gets a chance, go follow Dan Horde on X, because every day of OTAs he puts his 5 observations that he got there. It's always with a video. Some great observations today. Got to see some good work by I think it was Jalen Rivers on one of the blocking sessions. So
Yeah.
it was more
And
focusing
that's
on
another
Scott
guy.
Peters.
That's another guy that we haven't talked about, but I mean, I'm going to talk about him on Thursday just to give you a little sneak peek. But I think Jalen Rivers is going to be a guy that is actually going to push for some playing time. I think he is going to be one of the surprise guys of this camp. But we talked about this new offensive line again. I just want to see that cohesiveness that we haven't seen, especially early on this season. You know, we just whatever that has to do with. Maybe it has to do with those guys not getting enough reps in the preseason or whatever. But maybe it being a soft camp. I don't know. We'll see. But it sounds like this guy is a little bit more tougher than what we've had as an offensive line coach. So I would love to see those guys come out and be more aggressive and be more violent. So at the point of contact. So I'm excited to see this offensive line and how it works through. But I also want to see this young defense, and I'm hoping that some of these players that we are hoping that are going to come in and fill these spots of these vet guys that have dropped off, especially in the defensive back room. I mean, no more Mike Hilton. That's a tough one to replace. Von Bell, although he did not play as much as we thought he would last year, but that's another one. There's some pieces in this defensive back room that I think are going to be very interesting, a very young room. And then, the progression of Dax Hill, I think, is another great story out of OTAs and camp. So I'm very excited. I think this is one of those camps where, defensively, hopefully, like the offensive line has taken a new identity. Hopefully, the defense takes a new identity as well, with a new defensive coordinator, a new head guy running the defense. It'd be nice to see.
Yeah, it's definitely a new identity. If you get a chance, go read that Charlie Goldsmith article. One of the coolest things I took from there was the defensive line. In years past, they would get their checks from the linebackers. Well, that's gone now. Jerry Montgomery's got the defensive line. He's empowering them between the unit to make your own checks, make your own run fits, make basically your own audibles as a defensive line, not relying on the linebackers to call those things. That to me was really interesting to see how quickly they were jumping in and grabbing to that. Yeah, it's a new system to learn, but you don't have to unlearn a lot because it's completely different than the way Lou did. So I'm not usually a guy that's really excited about defense, but I do miss DJ Reader. So reading something like that gives me confidence that maybe that run stopping is going to be a lot better just because the defensive linemen are controlling where they're adjusting to.
That's what's so frustrating about Shamar not being in there, right? I mean, the one guy that needs the most reps right now is not in the building, and that's very frustrating, right? Because again, the defensive edge room, right? The defensive ends, that room right now is very volatile. So you would like to see some stability when it comes to these younger guys stepping up and getting reps. So, hopefully they get that Shamar thing done. But we talked about this, Eric, from the very beginning when Al Golden was their number one target at defense coordinator. We talked about he was a linebacker coach, how good the linebackers were during that 2-year period. And we talked about this before the draft. This was Al Golden's draft. He has a certain type of linebacker that he gravitates towards, and we saw him go out and get those two rookies, and that whole linebacker room is going to look a lot different. No more Joe Bocci, he's gone. No more Jermaine Pratt, you got to figure he's gone as well. No more Akeem Davis-Gaither, he's gone. So now that they've redone that entire linebacker room, and they've gone with youth and athleticism, right? Orrin Burks, although Burks has been around for a little while, he is a very athletic. We saw that in the playoffs for the Eagles, how athletic he was. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, but he obviously loves the linebacker position. So,
Well, and just looking back on it in hindsight, this is the year for Zach Taylor to save his job. Lou was on the chopping block. It was either Lou or the whole squad going, and so for Zach Taylor, I think this is really the year where they had to say, we're bringing in Al Golden to save my job, essentially, because if we would have just been a little bit better on defense, we would have been in the playoffs, and nobody would be talking about any of this right
that's
now.
100% true.
And so to me, this is really, you got to go in all in on Al Golden and give him what he needs, because you're counting on that guy to come in and improve that defense by 15%, and then you're back in the playoffs. I want to get your question on Shamar Stewart, and Watertight brought this up, saying Shamar Stewart he's in the building, he's just not practicing. I know you
Yeah.
had your spring practices going on, you got your spring great game going on, but talk to us as a coach. Someone's there but not participating. How much are they really going to benefit from that? Yeah, they're going to learn the calls, they're going to learn stuff, but if you're not actually doing the drills, how much is he going to really pick up and how much is he going to miss?
Well, I mean, it's really up to the player, to be honest with you. And I mean, I've coached 20 plus years. I've had guys that are very good at taking mental reps, and I have guys that are very bad at it. So honestly, Eric, over the years, I have found that it's up to the player. It's up to the player, and what how much he's taking in, how much he's absorbing, how much he's paying attention to. Again, like I said, I've had players that were incredible when it came to just being able to sit back and watch those mental reps. If they were injured or whatever the case may be, why they weren't in there. But I've also had guys that didn't learn anything because again, at my level, just like at the college and the NFL level, we're not there babysitting guys. If you want to play, you have to make that effort, and it's really up to Shamar Stewart. Does he want to come in and make an impact right away? I mean, how seriously is he taking it? And I think that's something that really is up to the player more so than what they're getting out of taking mental reps, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm impressed by everything I've heard him say and heard his father say. So I believe that he is learning as much as he can. I just think there's still something that you got. Sometimes you got to do something to learn it. So he might be picking up 65%, but you're probably not getting the full benefit.
And that's a
without being
good
hands
point.
on.
That's a good point because there are different learners for every. There are
Yeah.
visual learners. There are guys that can sit there and listen to something and absorb all the information, or there's guys that are visual, that have to actually see it, that have to actually participate in it to learn it. So I guess that's a big part of it too, is what kind of learner is Shamar Stewart? Is he a visual guy, or is he a guy that has to actually participate to get those reps? So I don't know, man. I just think it's one of those things, because I guess for me, I'm a little sour because I wasn't very happy with the pick, and now he's not practicing. So I think it pisses me off even more. So I don't know. We'll, we'll,
Well,
we'll have
yeah,
to wait and see.
and it's exactly it. We weren't ecstatic about the pick, but then you get on board with the pick because this guy is raw. He's the highest RAS score out there ever. He's compared to Miles Garrett and has the potential to be even better than him. So you absolutely, okay, I didn't love the pick on night one. I got on board with the pick. Let's get him out there. Let's get him all these reps. Now he's holding out because of a stupid contract thing that you're trying to add that you didn't give to any other draft pick. So he needs to be out there. He needs to be getting those reps, and now he's not because the Bengals are playing hardball. There was Fuzzy Balls had a good comment here and our question. No Trey, no Shamar Stewart. This really has to be not just Miles Murphy, but Miles Murphy and Joseph Osai. and Cedric Johnson, they need to be taking advantage of this opportunity and solidifying their places in that rotation. Any thoughts on Miles Murphy taking a jump because of this extra time?
I mean, he has to, right? I mean, it's not even a question. He has to take a jump. If he doesn't take a jump now, it's going to be a bust. He's going to be a bust. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. He has got to, at this point right now in his career, and for what the Bengals need out of him, he has got to. The light bulb's got to come on now. If it doesn't come on now, I don't know how else to say it. He's a bust if it doesn't come on now. So I don't even think it's a question of that. I think it's a question that. I mean, I don't even think it's a question. I think it has to. He has to figure it out. He's got to figure it out, and or this Bengals defense could take another step back. And we all know what that looked like this past year. So Miles Murphy, there's a lot of people counting on this guy, and I'm very nervous about it, to be honest with you. But I'm hoping I'm wrong.
I chalk him up. I think that Miles Murphy is one of those guys that has to get in there and do it. And Lou won't. That Lou did not cater to that. We heard Al Golden really talking about learning how different. Every player learns a different way, and you got to mold yourself. Lou was clearly not that. Lou was, if you can't do it in practice, you're not going to do it in the game. I think Miles is going to benefit from being thrown into the fire and hopefully being thrown into the rotation, getting trust from Al Golden. That's what we're going to need. Now, if we got Trey, Shamar, Joseph Osai, Cedric, we're gonna have a really deep rotation. So he may not have to be amazing, but he can definitely solidify his spot as that third or fourth rusher to come in there and really
he
add
has
on to
to
it.
be able to contribute, right? I mean, he's a first-round pick. He's got to be
Well, I
able
mean, we saw him chase down. I think he chased down Lamar for a tackle. I know he chased down Deshaun Watson, which not as big of a deal these days, but he's fast and he can do it. We just need him in a system where he's allowed to go out there and play with some instincts and do what he did so well in college. With that, we are going to get out of here. We didn't want to stay too late tonight. We have a really good show coming up on Thursday. We're going to go live at 7. Jake and Mon are going to break down their way too early 53-man rosters, talk about some of the misses last year, talk about some of the hits. There were some really good hits. Yeah, Mula Jameta, Shaka Hayward, Cedric Johnson. There's some hits. There's a couple misses. It's going to be a good show, so hopefully you guys can join us on Thursday at 7, and maybe we'll get some other breaking Bengals news by then, and if so, we'll go from an hour show to an hour and a half, We'll be here as long as it takes to discuss all that fun stuff, and hopefully we'll come back with Mon's hockey team winning and the Timberwolves winning another game, and Jake's Reds have won a couple of games.
If not, I feel like I'm the only one that's going to be talking on Thursday.
Yeah, you'll be talking about the Reds.
Let me tell you right now, I'm so pissed at the Reds right now. I can't even see straight. So it really, I mean, I know you don't follow them, but this past weekend, the Cubs series was so disheartening. Eric, I can't even tell you. I don't want to spend any more time. I know we got to get out of here, but I could literally talk 20 minutes on those 3 games and how crucial and devastating they were for the Cincinnati Reds. But I don't want to get into it. I moved on. I'm just talking Bengals now. But as Eric said, guys, make sure you check us out on Thursday. You're not going to want to miss it. It's one of our favorite shows of the year. It's our way too early 53-man. Although I did not do well last year, I usually am way, way ahead of Mon. So no doubt that will be the same on Thursday. Guys, as always, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you check us out on all the awesome podcast platforms, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. As always, follow Mon on Twitter @TheFireMon. Follow me on Twitter @CoachJakeOwens9. Follow Eric on Twitter @eFlash with 2 H's 88. Follow the Cincinnati Podcast Network on Twitter @CincinnatiPod. And as always, guys, follow us on Twitter. Follow the Bengals Pulse on Twitter @the Bengals Pulse. Also the same on Instagram without the the Bengals Pulse. Follow us on Instagram as well. And as always, guys, if you like us, make sure you give us that 5-star review. We would very much appreciate that. Just want to say once again, hooday to everyone out there. It feels like I haven't talked to you guys in a while. So thank you guys so much. We love you. We appreciate you. We're going to see you back here on Thursday for, again, the way too early 53. So make sure you check us out Thursday at 7 o'clock right here on the Cincinnati Podcast Network. He is Eric. I am Jake. Our guy Mon is sitting in front of the TV right now stressing over the Edmonton Oilers. This is the Bengals Pulse. Hoo day, Bengal fans. We will see you on Thursday.